According to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. My name is Corinna Stoffel, and I'm the host of Toward a New World. The world seems to be falling apart. Are you as frustrated as I am with the talk about how to fix things or what needs to change, yet nothing changes? In the episodes, I invite people to look from different perspectives, sometimes even contrary to the current points of view. My intention is to evoke a different level of consciousness by empowering listeners to explore what is true for them and begin to live their lives from that place, thus changing their lives and through it, the world. If this appeals to you, I ask you to subscribe to the podcast on this channel.
Hello and welcome. Here we are again. Today, I have an interesting subject. I want to talk about shadow. Shadow? What is that? According to Carl Jung, we push all the traits we have, the desires we have, that we judge as not positive into the shadow. And there is also shadow gold, the so-called positive traits that we do not want to acknowledge in ourselves. So we push it away. We project it onto others. We judge it in others. I mean, how often have you met somebody and said, "Oh, I don't like, he is so fill in the blank." The reality is that actually this is a character trait that we also have and we do not like. That's where the judgment comes from initially, but it's also we become unconscious of having it. So pushing traits, pushing anything into the shadow is not only not helpful, it actually hurts us and others. Why? We become victims of people who have that particular trait. Because interestingly, what I have found out is the universe tends to show us what's in our shadow by presenting us with people who exhibit that character trait. And now, as a sudden, I'm a victim of my own trait. Yeah, I am a victim of my own trait because I don't want to see it. So the victim is also I am also a victim in regard to relationships I'm in. And most of all, what's the primary relationship? I am in a relationship with myself. And I cannot be in a relationship with myself if I push stuff that is part of who I am away. And I also have a difficult time being in a relationship with other people. And we are in relationship with so many people. So how do we become whole? Integrate the shadow. What the heck does that mean? How do I do it? And sitting with that idea, the image that came to me, what if we start dancing with the shadow? Now, in order to dance with anybody, you need to get to know them a bit. That means I need to start exploring my shadow. I need to find out what is in my shadow. And if I'm willing to find that out, and if I'm honest with myself, I often find that I express that same trait most likely in a slightly different way. And having worked with my own shadow, I can absolutely attest to the fact that that can be damn uncomfortable. It's, oh, shucks, here I go. I don't want to see that. I don't want to know that. It's so much easier not to look at it. But if we're willing to recognize the underlying energy, then we can often see how our way of expressing it, even right now, is actually part of that shadow. So once I have an idea of what is in my shadow, I can begin a relationship with it. I can dance with it. The dancing is probably going to be pretty awkward, especially in the beginning. I mean, just imagine dancing with someone that you're not sure you want to dance with. There are some wrong moves. You may be stepping on each other's toes. So it's maybe feeling really strange. And the more we do it, the more practice we get, the smoother it becomes. And that is a good thing. We are so entrained from even growing up as kids to be good people. That's what we want to be. And then we get told, oh, you made mommy, dad, or daddy sad. You did this wrong. And if we hear this over and over again, we start judging it negatively within ourselves. And that is where we start pushing things into the shadow. But we are in reality a spectrum, anything from good to bad, from the best possible person being, let's call it an angel, to the worst possible person. We are a spectrum, and we have the capability of expressing each aspect of the spectrum, and we choose which one we want to express. But we need to understand that each one is available to us for choosing. So, one of the big benefits of dancing with the shadow is that we get out of the self-judgment. Because how much do we judge ourselves if we do something wrong? Where does that wrong come from? That's a self-judgment. So we get into a different kind of relationship with ourselves. We get into accepting all aspects of ourselves. And how does somebody else get us to do certain things, manipulate us, control us, is by pointing out how we are not good. So having a good relationship, actually, if you look at it, starts with ourselves. So what if we start learning to dance with our shadow? And as I said, I absolutely know, because I am doing this dance with my shadow. It is damn uncomfortable. It sometimes is so disappointing. Oh God, here I go. I'm doing exactly what I was judging in that other person. Not a fun place to be. And yet, there is freedom in being willing to explore that. Because now I can stop judging myself. Now I'm more aware of even how I express certain things. What may be the underlying energy in the way I act or react towards others. So I want to invite you, have the courage to explore your shadow. And if you have the courage, the universe will do everything to present you with ways to discover that. And then start making peace with it. Start dancing with it. Sometimes you dance well, sometimes it's not that great. But it's better than not knowing at all. So have a great time and enjoy dancing with the shadow.